how are you? And welcome to today's episode of Crying in the DMs. You are now watching an award-winning podcast.
I realise how dangerous it is coming off alcohol. My own personal opinion, it opens up a portal to hell. You know, I remember being a kid and I remember, being dragged under the bed by a demon.
Whoa, you remember what?
In the end of me drinking, 2-week relapses were I'd have heroin addicts in my flat and I'd be buying all the drugs for them. I wouldn't brush my teeth. It sounds disgusting, but I'll just be honest with you. Sometimes if I needed a number two, I'd just have it in the street. Do that with my hands, you know what I mean? And I'd just carry on drinking. It'd be really bad. I'd beg outside of shops for £1 to get a can of Black Ace, take away the withdrawals. And then I'd walk around and there'd be piss dripping down my leg. I'd go into Weatherspoons and all my mates would see me in Weatherspoons. When you're in DTs, you're so scared to talk to someone. You think they're going to hit you. I was really, really vulnerable. My flat was just Frosty Jack bottles everywhere. I just lived on an animalistic level. Everyone else felt sorry for me and I didn't feel sorry for myself. The abnormal had become the normal. That was just natural to me to wake up every day like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we can get used to anything.
I know God had his hand on me. Been times where I've been sick in my flat and my dad's disowned me. He's heard a voice to go and check on me. He's caught me being sick. I've had experiences with homeless people who've gone to punch me and it's missed me head that much. I've been in really dangerous situations which no one should ever be in. And I've always came away unscathed.
What's the most dangerous situation you were in?
I think it was the LSD trip in Manchester. So I was in Piccadilly Gardens and I was drinking with people just on the streets, just like lost souls.
I know the one, don't worry.
And I ended up walking with them and taking drugs. And I remember I had a bad trip and I woke up in Cathedral Gardens in the church and I thought I was in hell. And I was praying up to Jesus, crying out to God. It was freezing. I didn't know where I was. I woke up shivering. Like my mum had rang the police. So I thought I was in a dream.
Deep disassociation.
So I thought the best way to get out of this dream is to chuck myself off a bridge.
Oh my God.
And as I was going to walk towards a bridge, the police were pulled up. And they said, "Is your name Lewis?" Your mum's rang the police. My mum's from St Helens. This was in Manchester. I could have been anywhere in Manchester looking for me. And I burst out in tears in the car. I was so grateful for the police. I used to hate the police. I was so grateful for them. Kind of like a God moment. And I got home. My nan and granddad were sat there. I was still coming down off the acid. And I cried in my garden and thanked God. A few days later, I was drinking again. That's how insane it was, the addiction. And when I say that LSD trip, it traumatised me, do you know what I mean? But it wasn't enough. Like, I've had plenty of experiences like that, but that bad LSD trip I had was out of this world.
I don't think people realise the severity. You start drinking young, you normalise it, then it becomes more normal, then more normal, then more normal. And before you know it, you try more things because you need to get that bigger high, you need to get that better high. And if you don't try more things, then you try more alcohol. And before you know it, you're at rock bottom, but rock bottom feels like you woke up in your bed. We can normalise rock bottom, can't we? I think a lot of us normalise rock bottom. We're talking, ex-addicts. We normalise rock bottom because we're actually quite comfortable there. We were uncomfortable at the top. At the top, we feel like we don't belong there. At the bottom, we're surrounded by friends.
Yeah.
I've never had more friends than I had at rock bottom. I had a gaff full of people at rock bottom. Now at the top, they either think I'm better than them, or unfortunately, a lot of them are incarcerated or dead. So it's an empty room now. But the reality was, it was an empty room back then too. It just had people in it.
Yeah, I was in town the other day and a lot of people, and I'm not saying they looked down on me in a bad way, they were like heavy drinkers, they weren't at my level. I knew I was a bad alcoholic because alcoholics didn't want to drink with me. I was banned from crack dens. I was that much of a nuisance.
You got banned from the crack dens?
Honestly, yeah. People you could tell was addicts walking down the street would look at me and go, "Stay away from that, Lewis." They'd look at me how society looks at them.
Wow.
Because that's how dark I was and deep into it. And I see a lot of them in town now, and I don't look in an egotist or look at you and look at me. I feel sorry for them. And I see him now and I can't hardly walk. Do you know what I mean? It's like it progresses.
We had it today, didn't we? We were sat outside. We saw the guy that you used to...
when I was in rehab, yeah.
Full circle moment, brother. And again, not in a ego way, not to be look at me now.
No.
More of like look at where you could have been, but you chose differently. It's nothing about strength. It's nothing about endurance. It's choice. And unfortunately, they just haven't made that choice yet. Let's hope it's yet. Let's hope it's not that they never do. What do you think made you actually make that choice?
There's a window of opportunity when you hit eternal rock bottom. Rock bottom's just when you stop digging. When I realised that I could not manage my life and I needed a new director, I was in the bed and I realised it wasn't just about the alcohol. I suffered terribly with OCD. I had this OCD ritual, right, where I had to drink because I was obsessed with a sobriety date. I had to wait till 12 o'clock even if I was tired at night. I'd take a picture of myself with no top on in the mirror and I say in 12 months' time I'm going to take another picture. I'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll put loads of pictures of myself on Instagram and all that. Honestly, how self-centered I was.
I get it.
It was linked in with the fact that this OCD, this sobriety date had to be perfect.
Yeah.
And when I woke up the next day after doing that ritual and a bit of urine went over the seat because it wasn't perfect, I'd have to have another drink. And sometimes I'd only have a sip just so the alcohol would go into my system so that I could do the OCD ritual again. And that's what I got sectioned for. So I used to get my mum bringing me alcohol in. But she never understood it was OCD. She thought it's just alcoholism, which it probably was a little bit of both. But in the end, I come out of hospital and I still had that mindset. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to be Mr. Hardman. I'm going to have loads of women and all that. And I was doing it for 3 days. And this revelation come over me saying, like, it's not about you anymore. This illusion that you're going to be happy or you're going to wrest satisfaction out of your life if you play God. And I realised I stopped playing God. And when I stopped playing God, I handed my life and will over to God. I still want to listen to a bit of Tupac, do you know what I mean? But when I fully kind of realised my life depended on, on that, that's what I did.
Obviously, when you're in addiction, you behave differently to when you're not.
Yeah.
And you become a completely different person out of addiction than you are in addiction. And I think people sometimes have such a misconception of addicts that once you come out of addiction, you're a weak person and you're rebuilding yourself from the ground up and you're weak. Most addicts I've met that have turned to sobriety are some of the strongest people I know.
Yeah.
But yet society looks at them like, oh, look at that, bless them. They're not drinking, they're not smoking, they're not doing drugs, bless them.
Yeah, you know what? I stopped telling people. I used to go around everywhere telling people that I was in recovery, people in shops and all that. And it's always the same stuff, and it gets a bit annoying. It's like, oh, well done. You're an amazing guy. You're an amazing guy.
Overcompensation, innit?
Yeah, and probably low self-esteem, because I said to you before I come on this podcast that I didn't feel worthy of coming on. I thought I'm just an alky. Because I always wanted to be on a podcast and kind of and share my story with people to help people. Do you know what I mean?
You don't think it's funny when you go, oh no, I don't want to drink, and why? What do you mean why?
It's normalised.
Yeah, it's far more normal than anything else.
Like the adverts what come on TV about alcohol. They wind me up. You won't have an advert about crack and heroin.
You're not wrong.
Imagine someone like sat there having a crack pipe and they're in like a fancy suite like this.
Flavoured crack.
Alcohol's so normalised. It's scary, and it's like I've been around people who have been on every single drug going, and I've never seen someone go so psychopathic. It's like they're not there. I've seen people's eyes turn jet black and they've tried to just batter you for no reason. And some lad did it to me, not long ago, and it was in treatment service, and I was just sat there minding my own business. He's all right at first, but I could tell he was going to kick off, and he kicked off at these two homeless people, and I broke it up. I was just being nice, and he come back and he went for me, fully went for me. Now, when someone's drunk and they're going for me, I'd struggle to hit on me because I can see myself in him. Yeah. So I've done that before. As soon as he got wrapped up back in my police van, I was praying for him. And I said, you know what, I feel sorry for him, because he'll wake up in that cell the day after and he's going to be regretting what he did.
It's
Do
not
you know
worth
what I mean?
it for that moment of feeling like you're on top of
I've done it myself, I've done it myself, but I've seen complete bizarre behaviour on alcohol. If it came out today, it'd be a class A drug. I've seen people more manageable on crack and heroin. Crack and heroin addicts, which I used to knock around with, didn't like alcoholics because of what we were like. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, Lewis. Yeah.
The alcoholics are judging me, the addicts judging me alcoholic. Yeah. If you look at statistics, alcohol is much more of a destructive drug, in my opinion.
It's a reference, we're not saying it's okay to do crack.
No, I'm not saying it's I mean, I used with people who were classed as addicts, yeah. And when I said I got banned out of crack dens, it's because my behaviour was completely immoral. I drank and I'd have prostitutes in my flat. Anyone could come in my flat once I had a drink. I was open territory. That's where I was vulnerable. I used to have the homeless in my flat and I'd be drinking Frosty Jacks and making them meals and all that in my frying pan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I only learned to cook recently. I'm only learning to do all these things now, getting sober, all these social skills.
Reborn.
Without sounding prideful, I didn't realise how intellect I was. I was always told in school I was thick. I left school at 14.
You're definitely not thick, like.
Homeschooled. I've been through agoraphobia, been through delusions, OCD, depersonalisation. I was always told, and I always thought my cards were dealt in life, I could never change. And for me, the Holy Spirit's changed me inside and out. I used to hate Christianity, but I'd never actually read a Bible in my life. But when you think about the Bible as well, there's 300 prophecies about Jesus in the Bible. He's fulfilled 300. And there was a statistic that just one man filling 7 of them, you'd have a better chance winning the lottery. You come to realise it's not just a fairy book like you think it is. It's a historic book. This is history. The Bible's quite a very, very powerful book.
I always think if Jesus could fulfil 300 prophecies, you can fulfil one. You know what I mean? So whatever you're meant to do here, you've got 300 to 1 of doing it. That's pretty good odds. I like them. Whenever I think I can't do something, I'm like, yeah, well, Jesus did 300 things.
Yeah.
I can do one.
Yeah.
So I started this podcast, right? And I walked in here on the first day. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. The guy that was meant to be on my podcast cancelled last minute. So I had a different guy that I'd only spoke to the night before turning up on my podcast. Didn't know what to expect. And then after 5 weeks, we won a national award. What? Someone told me that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed him.
No.
I went to uni. Fuck knows how I passed uni. But it happened. I believe that's 2 prophecies. I didn't die during childbirth twice. Yeah. That's 4 prophecies, and then you've got to look at yourself. You got banned from the crack dens.
Yeah.
Big achievement, bro. Right? You wore the most amazing suit to church.
Yeah.
That I could not believe it when you walked in that day. You're going to change so many fucking lives, Lewis, like just by existing. And that's a prophecy in itself. I can't tell you how lucky I feel to know you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'm so proud of you as a person and as a man. And watching you sit there, even though you were fucking dead anxious to be there.
Oh, very, yeah.
Tell your story. I feel like a proud mum.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And I know your mum will be dead proud as well.
Thank you. Been a dream come true. Coming on here, I'm really grateful for you having me. It's a blessing to know, even if just one person listens to it and goes, do you know what? I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Like there's other people out there, especially people who are on the spectrum, because people with autism, you get the voice of the carers, you get the voice of the parents with autism. Even sometimes some of the parents, you can speak really bad things about autism, like demon child, monster child. You know, in the newspapers you see it, and it's like the voice. I've always wanted to be the voice for the autistic. We need more understanding. The discrimination I faced through it's really affected me. I know there's probably kids going through it in school now. They don't really have a voice. And maybe this is just all like paranoia in my head, but I just know what I went through in school. It really affects a child's self-esteem.
The more isolated you become, the more likely you are to disassociate. The more likely you are to fall into addiction. The more likely you are to fall into addiction, the more likely you are to fall into cycles and circles that increase addiction. You are right. It starts with one comment. Are you weirdo? Are you gimp? It starts with a little thing, doesn't it? And then from there, you start to internalize those things about yourself and you believe them to be true. Like you believe yourself to be unlovable. You believe yourself to be unworthy, to be an outsider. And because you genuinely believe it, you don't change it. Because why would you fight against a fact?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was a fact for many years, and I'm only just realising it wasn't. You know, people want me around them now. When I first got invited, you know, to go for a meal with yourself and a few others from church, I didn't believe you generally wanted me to. Honestly, that's how bad the low self-esteem was. I used to find people really boring me. I'd need a drink to find people interesting.
People are boring, Lou.
The people who were boring seem to have the most friends. Do you get what I mean? I always thought I was uninteresting. I always thought I wasn't cool. So I tried to become something I wasn't all my life, and I tried to kind of, you know, wear different clothes, and I wasn't comfortable in my own skin because I felt like I was boring and no one would want to spend time with me. That's the type of low self-esteem I had, but I had a big ego up here.
Tends to come hand in hand though, doesn't it?
Yeah, both the same thing to me. When I'm smashing my head through mirrors, that's my ego as well, because it's like I'm not believing what God says about me. I'm going off the world's opinion, and the world rejected me. I felt rejected by the world. But I know I'm not rejected by God since seeing them two angels. You know, I'm very blessed to have that opportunity to see. Not everyone sees them two angels. People worship God all their life and don't see her. I'm not saying I'm anything more special, but I think God really seen that struggling in my heart. The rejection on a deep level, the discrimination. Even the word autism, something can make me a bit like...
jittery.
Yeah, there's like an anger that comes with it. Like kind of like it brings it up, do you know what I mean? But it's like...
Who are you angry at?
I don't know. It's like this feeling that I'll never achieve anything, and then I've got to prove to people, oh, I'm autistic, I can do the X, Y and Z. There's like a drive in me.
What do you think of the phrase superpower?
My feelings are a bit like mixed on it, do you know what I mean? But
I know what you mean.
I have heard it. I think mine's with studying. I think mine's with people, serving. Very sensitive, but that can be bad and good.
When people say, oh, your autism's your superpower, do you find it condescending?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like it, to be honest.
Fucking hate it.
I didn't want to say it, but no, I don't.
No, just
don't
say
really
it.
like it.
Right? I think it's so condescending. I remember I was working in this naughty kids school, did a little bit of work experience. There was this one guy, bless him. He was difficult, but so was I growing up. So were you. Do you know what I mean? We know the difficult that he was. He wouldn't talk. And he probably wouldn't talk because he felt so shut out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had this little trainee teacher that was in there, God bless her. Beautiful blonde. She looked pretty perfect, to be fair. And I was going in there in like a net flannel t-shirt, stinking of bifters. And she said, oh, come on now. It's your superpower.
Yeah,
Use your superpower.
Yeah,
and I watched his eyes like, and I thought, he's going to hit her. And I'm not going to stop him.
No, you're right. That's the type of discrimination I've had.
It's like condescending, isn't it?
It's kind of like you said before about the curry. It's like talking to someone of different race and kind of like in a patchwork Jamaican accent. You know, that's what it's kind of like. No, but that's how I interpret it. It's kind of like, it's very patronising.
Yeah.
And I've had it all my life, and it really did affect my self-esteem, you know. And like I said, when that girl rejected me when I was 12, it was all that stuff. It had kind of built up, these lies had been built up.
Yeah.
And it was almost like I was putting everyone in a box, and there was like a committee going in my head, and it was like courtroom, and I felt everyone was out to get me.
Yeah.
You said something before about, you know, a certain phrase you live by. It was very similar to that.
Everyone's a cunt.
Yeah. But mine was like everyone's out to get. I felt persecuted.
Yeah.
I'm glad I never now. I nearly had a tattoo saying persecuted, but still stand.
God, no.
The rehabs and all that, people had tried to help me all over the years, and it was always like I'd always leave rehabs and relapse. I wasn't perfect. All my life was in and out of rehab. I never thought I'd say I was grateful, but now I get excited waking up in the morning. I used to dread it. Do you know what I mean? I used to dread it, really dread it. It's like Groundhog Day every day. I just want to be a child again. Just want to feel that fantasy again. My church was in the pub before the church, which I go now. My church was in the pub.
It's like that song, Take Me to Church, isn't it?
Yeah. I used humour a lot. I think I was Liam Gallagher, but I was actually Frank Gallagher. Do you know what I mean? In my head, I thought I was Liam Gallagher, I was Frank Gallagher.
Dad used to call himself Frank Gallagher. I swear to you.
I used to think I was him. I thought that's all I could be. I don't even have that identity with me anymore.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I don't like being around drunk people. I'm more than that, do you get what I mean? I wasn't designed to kind of be that.
No. You redesigned.
No, I always believed in Christ and God since 21, but it was like, I never really felt born again. I never really felt the fruits of the Spirit properly. I did when I was in rehabs. Christian rehabs were really powerful. But, since doing the 12 steps, I feel like I've fully connected to God. And all it was for me was getting rid of that ego and that self and connecting to God so God can get in. It's so simple, it's suspicious. Do you know when I first went through it? It's like,
yeah, I get that.
How does this work? And that's because it's God. It can't
There's got to be more
explained.
to it. You're like, there's got to be more to it, yeah.
It can't be explained on a psychiatric kind of level or a knowledge sense level. It has to be explained on a revelation level, but all my music's changed as well. So I'm listening to more like positive music now. All the music I used to listen to, what I thought was good, it was like dark beat and horrible.
Yeah, another one.
Talking about violence, do you know what I mean? And it was like just dark and depressive. That self-pity and all that and self-centeredness, it's like
an echo chamber.
It's hard sometimes, I'll be honest. I love the sound of my own voice. I love that. That's why I was so obsessed with doing this podcast, because I was so like, oh yeah, it's all about me. Yes, get in. Do you know what I mean? But then as I've recovered a little bit more now, it's like I thought it's about God and it's about sharing the message of Christ. God is in me. Yeah,
God is in you.
I believe he's in every man, woman and child. I believe everyone's born with a fundamental idea of God. And I believe anyone can get to that. And I believe what the process that I've undergone is stripping back the layers and getting me to that God consciousness, Christ consciousness. And I believe because God is love, I believe anyone can connect to that. I keep it very simple, but sometimes my head is very complex. So I always thought it'd have to take something complex to help my alcoholism, because I was a very complex person, but it's talking a simple reliance.
It's something simple.
Upon God.
I always say that to my clients. You don't have to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Just tell me you don't want to be who you are right now and we'll change it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a 55-step booklet.
Yeah.
That you read through every day. It can be something just as simple as do these 2 things, do them every day.
Yeah.
Now you're not the same person, okay? Now you can see you changed a bit.
Yeah.
Let's go a bit further. Let's go a bit further. It's a slow and it's an unwinding process. Getting out of any addiction is lonely, because the same people that you're in it with, they want to stay in it 9 times out of 10. I've had friends fall off the wagon. I've got friends that are up there with Jesus. I've got friends that probably wouldn't class me as a friend anymore. If they want to live that life, I'm never going to judge. I can't live that life because I know I'm being judged. Do you know what I mean? And my judgment isn't coming from him in the pub. It's coming from him. So if I know he's going to judge me and he's going to see me acting an arsehole, I'm going to have to be held accountable for that one day.
Yeah.
And I would rather live my whole life trying to be a better person and be wrong and there be no God than live my life in accordance to worldly ways and mannerisms, get up there and have to explain myself. Because how are you going to explain that?
I need to be like that more myself, pleasing God and not pleasing people, because like I said, growing up, I always wondered why no one ever knocked on my door. And it wasn't the question of I wanted friends. I always questioned why I don't have friends.
Do you know why no one knocked on your door?
Why is that?
Because you'd have opened it to anyone.
Yeah. I had that revelation that God was keeping me away from people. But in my head, I always thought, I never felt like I was included in a friend group. But I always said, why? And that caused a lot of loneliness throughout the years, and really bad loneliness. Thought I was boring and all that, honestly, I did. And I've tried to be more
lads.
Yeah, I tried to be more loud and kind of eccentric and that. But now I'm just all right with being myself. And myself is kind of my best self is someone who comes into a room and is always laughing and smiling. That's my best self. That's all I want to do now, is help other people.
If you had someone watching this now and they're just coming out of addiction or they're still in it, what would your bit of advice be?
All I can share is my experience. I was a hopeless alcoholic. Never thought I could get sober. I believe once you kind of make that connection with God, he'll never forsake you or leave you.
How would they make it?
It can't be something that you get kind of intellectually, because the best intellectual people in the world, they still don't realise there's a God. I think it's something that once you start seeking and reading the scriptures, the word is alive for me. And this is for me. I couldn't get towards God through just going to church. So what I did was I started to work a 12-step program. And that was the only thing that has ever changed the way I thought or felt. And at first it was very hard for me to understand, because there was a lot of people in these 12-step programs who didn't believe in the God I believed. But they seemed to kind of be sober. And I thought, well, why is my God not doing it in church? And I mean, there was hundreds of times where I'd get prayed over, I'd shake on the floor, go out and drink. Your alcoholism's gone, I'd go out and drink. And I realised, I don't think much churches kind of have understanding of what alcoholism is and how deep it runs. Not just like you're eating too many biscuits now and again.
No.
It's an illness, do you get what I mean?
It's deep-rooted.
It's deep-rooted.
And sometimes it's in your fucking DNA.
It takes a spiritual approach, because I've tried the psychological approach. For anyone watching, the spiritual approach is what worked for me. Connection, being around people who suffer with what you suffer with. The 12 steps is designed to give you sanity around alcohol. In the literature I read, it talks about insanity around alcohol. And sometimes that looks like we swear off and say we're never ever touching it again. For anyone to drink after being in sectioned, delirium tremens, nearly having heart attacks, for For anyone to pick up a drink and drug again must be insane. Around alcohol, I'm not saying they're insane like schizophrenically, even though some may be. And what the 12 steps has done for me is gave me sanity around alcohol. So I can look at alcohol like I look at Diet Coke. And the reason it's so hard to explain is because it's only God that produces that. It's not been psychotherapy or shockwave treatment on my mind. It's been as a result of the 12 steps. And that's what I'd say to anyone watching.
Do you reckon you'd ever open your own ministry?
I think I would like to serve people. I've got a serving heart. I would like to kind of help people with mental health, because I know what it feels like to kind of be suicidal. You know, I didn't want to live. I couldn't live with alcohol and I couldn't live without it. I was at a place called the Jumping Off Place. I didn't have a bottle to kill myself. Couldn't carry on drinking, but I couldn't live sober. And it was a very bad place to be in that. For now, I want to just help people who are suffering with alcoholism. And I want to guide them, you know, to recovery and stuff like that. You know, for me, it's about rebuilding my relationship broken with mum and dad. I made amends this morning. I went to a shop that I'd stolen from when I was 17. I ran out with a crate and it all dropped on the floor. Felt wrecked. I paid the tenner back. I could have got away with that, but have I really got away with it? Like little things like that. I just want to be a good moral person now. I want to have good morals. I'm very careful around certain stuff. People talk about women kind of feeling shame after going with a man. Men feel that as well. Like when I used to go with women who were taken or were married, I felt sick. So now, if anyone's ever in a relationship or I see a wedding ring on them, it'll remind me of the guilt of what I used to do, because I used to seek that. That's how, when I said demonic stuff, I used to seek women like who were married, and I feel ashamed saying that, but I used to be proud of it. Like it was like power and ego,
because you could lead them into sin. They would choose you over. Yeah.
It was a weird kind of mindset, but ego, yeah. I'm just trying to be humble now. Obviously, when the time's right, I'm not looking for it, but you know, if God presents a woman, that's obviously in the long term. I mean, I'm nowhere near ready for that. Yeah,
Stick
in the long
to you
term,
for now.
I've got to love myself first. You know, just spending time with my mum and daddy. I don't want to be a big shot like I used to be. It's the simple things that no one sees. It's like giving the homeless man a pasty, or having respect for yourself, like adopting like morals, opening doors for all women, being that person I should have always been. I was raised to be.
What does it feel like to have been sleeping homeless and almost jumping off a fucking bridge to now wake up to your mum making you breakfast in bed?
A man said to me, he used to go into jails and he used to talk to the alcoholics and addicts, who most people in jail are addicts and alcoholics, they don't realise it, and he was trying to preach to them. And he said the biggest relief you can ever get is knocking on your mum's door and giving her a cup of tea. They were all saying, when I get out of jail, I'm going to get this woman, I'm going to get a big car, I'm going to make loads of money when I get off a drink and the drugs. And I get what he meant now. The simple graces in life, we don't even realise it. We're caught up in like this like overstimulation. And the simple things in life is what I want to enjoy, do you know what I mean? And obviously my purpose in life is when I stand before my creator. That's my joys in life. I still struggle with sin, obviously we all do, but my heart is different now. Like I kind of want to live for God.
You got to aspire for it every day.
I don't knock anyone else's kind of beliefs. I don't kind of get into the debating society with that, but it worked for me.
Are you baptised into the Christian faith?
I was baptised as a young kid, and then I got baptised twice. One in church, you're getting baptised in tomorrow. A second time when I was in rehab, because I ended up leaving Christianity and went to Islam for 4 years because I got deceived. Obviously, I'm so grateful that God's brought me back to the truth.
You're going into Catholicism now. Would you get rebaptised into Catholicism?
I've spoke to my mum's cousin who's a Catholic priest. He said no, because you've been baptised as a kid.
So I was baptised Church of England when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting baptised tomorrow. Does that mean if I wanted to turn to Catholicism at any point?
You wouldn't need to get baptised, I don't think.
So I'm not breaking any rules?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Sorry, Lewis.
all I know is the Catholic priest said to me, if you've been baptised as a kid, you don't need to get baptised. I'm only just learning about Catholicism, do you know what I mean? But I've kind of done my church history, and that's kind of what I believe is the original church. Big for me to say that, because I used to, as a president, I used to kind of have a lot of mistaken beliefs about Catholics. And I didn't even realise they were Christians. I thought it was like some other kind of, faith. But a lot of that prejudice has kind of gone. I just find it more comfortable, even in the mass. Like the feeling I felt at mass was like a wind blowing. It was like being stood on a hill. And I've also researched, the Eucharistic miracles, the blood type turning to A to B blood on the bread. I truly believe the bread's the body of Christ. I don't believe it's a symbol. When it turns to the blood, they've brought it to science labs, because the Catholic Church can't just say it's a blood. They have to go through science. So then 16 confirmed blood types A to B. The Shroud of Turin, which is a linen cloth of Jesus, that's A to B as well. And they've said for that kind of burial cloth to last for so long as it has, it'd take a miracle. It'd be like a shockwave, do you know what I mean? And I've seen like Mary apparitions on YouTube, where thousands of Muslims have witnessed Mary. Been times where Mary's visited children and said the sun's going to dance. Hundreds of people, even atheists, have seen this. It's like recorded history. It's not like someone's made it up across the water somewhere. It's like, it's all history. So that's what's opened me out up to it. I might be wrong about this, but this is just what I believe. I believe anyone who believes Jesus Christ is saved. I believe there's faith expressed in love, because there's people who confess to be Christians, and everyone's imperfect. What I used to do was say Jesus died for me as an excuse to go out and do what I wanted. And I was mocking his mercy. And that's how I lived for so many years. And in the end, it caught up with me. And I realised my mistake now in doing that. Almost like I was mocking him. He'd gone to the cross for me, and I treated that like a license to go out and do what I want. And that's what Catholicism teaches. I don't believe everyone who believes in that crucifixion is going to be saved. For me, there's an expression of kind of love and wanting to pick up your cross daily. And I've seen thousands of testimonies of people who have been to hell. Thought I was a good person, I was a Christian. The cross is a finished work, and I believe we only enter heaven through the cross. But I do believe that can kind of be used as an excuse to do what you want.
Wow, as you're talking, I'm quite literally getting a pulse in like in the front of my head. How mad's that? I'm not even joking. Wow, good chat.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you getting me on here. You know, I'm very grateful to be on. I just hope someone's got something from it.
Well, I have.
Thank you.
And now for your favourite part of the episode, Crying in the DMs, where you come cry in my DMs. And today we've got some really important questions for Lewis and one really important story. So, Lewis, are you ready?
Yeah.
How does your faith help you deal with shame?
Doesn't really, to be honest with you. If you want me honestly, a lot of things I used to do before a Christian, I didn't really feel shame over. And when I become a Christian, I still really struggle with shame. When I'm in mass or when I'm in worship, I'll be reminded sometimes about promiscuity. I don't even know if that's a word, but
Promiscuity, it is.
sometimes that'll condemn me. It's like I battle with it every day. The shame, I still feel shame. Do you get what I mean?
What would you say to someone who feels too broken or too far gone to be saved?
I felt the exact same, you know, I felt too broken, too far gone, thought God didn't want anything to do with me. I'm sorry to say this, like, forgive me God for saying this, but I thought I was going to get up to heaven and Our Lady was going to do me kneecaps in with a bloody sledgehammer, do you know what I mean? We can't understand the mind of God. I don't feel anyone is too far gone. You know, and I'm not just saying that to sound like some sort of like positive thinker or try to give people false hope. I was too far gone, and obviously I wasn't too far gone because here I am, and I believe it's about not giving up hope. You know, I always wanted to get well, and I never thought I'd be where I am now, and that obsession to drink's gone from me, so it's an act of God.
Never too far gone until you're gone. What was the hardest part of surrendering your addiction?
For me, the hardest part of surrendering was probably surrendering my old ideas, my stubborn persistence, which was like, I know best, my way is the right way. It was self-will. That's what it was. It was self-will. The alcohol was just a symbol to my addiction, just a symptom, the alcohol. Letting go of control, you know, letting go of the unknown, the OCD, which I mentioned. It was complete kind of surrender of not just the drink, but realising I'm an alcoholic, but accepting what that means, that I'm powerless and I'm going to be exactly in the same position again if I don't change.
Oh.
I had to go through the recovery process, which I did really willingly. And at first I thought it's not going to work, it's a cult. But obviously it has worked for me.
Thank God it has.
Yeah, only God. That's all I can say really. I can't drive this bus, God can. All I can do is guide someone to God, because I made a mess of my life.
One person's mess is another person's mosaic. Who would you say suffered most at the hands of your addiction, and how have you made peace with that?
I think my dad, because, you know, he was trying to drag me out of crack dens. He could have got his throat slit by one of the addicts. I've had to hold him against the door as he was going to come in and batter all the addicts, and I didn't realise what I was doing to him at the time, do you know what I mean? And my amends to him is, you know, I've got a good relationship with him today. You know, picking knives up in the kitchen, trying to stab my dad. And I remember one time in my addiction I shared about the other day where I was off my head, coked up and drunk, and I went to the house and I went through the back gate and I was banging on my window, trying to let me in. I'd knocked on the door at first. It was a look where me and my dad looked at each other in the eyes, and he knew he couldn't let me in. But it broke his heart not letting me in, because it was almost like I was in hell. I was in psychosis, and I was just wanting to be with my mum and dad, and he had to let me go, and he said, I can't let you in, son, do you know what I mean? And I just walked to a pub and just sat outside a pub and talked to a young lad who came out.
You have the heart of a baby, the mind of an addict. In those situations, you just want to go home.
I didn't really have friends, so it was mostly my mum and dad.
No, I just say Lewis's mum is so proud of him now.
Yeah.
She didn't even want to let him come on this podcast on his own. She wanted to eavesdrop. Who had to forgive you before you could forgive you?
God, definitely. It's been the hardest thing to forgive myself, you know, over what I just shared. I truly thought all the bad things I'd done were who I was, and I hated when anyone else did anything like that, you know, like for example, I couldn't be faithful to a woman. I was a chronic cheat, but if that was ever done on me, well, it's like the end of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be that person again. In the future, I want to meet a woman who's grounded in faith, but I'd never want to fall into that sin again, because it's, you know, people don't think sex is not. It is normal. Do you know what I mean? But it's like it's a very dangerous area to go into without God. Do you know what I mean?
Practicing no sex before marriage?
Yeah.
Amen.
If you want me honesty, it's a better life doing that. I believe sex is a very kind of, it's not just a physical act. I feel like souls meet, and I know from experience, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect all the time, do you get what I mean? But it's like, I still haven't forgave myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm working on that. I've just got to realise that, you know, Jesus paid the price on the cross, and I'm not worthy of it.
I think that, you know, when I'm running, right, at the night time, I spend about 2 hours in the gym per night, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get a stitch in my side, and I love it, because it reminds me of the spear in Jesus' side. Is that really weird?
Yeah, and that was prophesied as well.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, that spear.
I will literally run, and I'll run to the point where my stitch is agonising, and then I'll carry on, because I'm like, you need to do this. You have to feel that pain so that you wake up tomorrow and you don't sin again, because it's only in pain that we are truly at one with God. When you're in pain, that's when he's closest. And if you can persecute yourself, you keep yourself from external persecution. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not encouraging people to run with a stitch, by the way. Like, this is just me being a dick, but I will run past the point of agony, and then I would just get on my knees and just pray on the floor after I've done it.
Yeah.
And then I'll be there for like half an hour praying. I had a mad experience. I had to ring my mate Jess. You know Jess, right? It was when I just first started this podcast, and I was picking and choosing people to come on it, being a bit naughty with my choices. And I'd run and I'd run and I'd run and I'd run and I had a really shit day. And I had this feeling of put your arms up. I'm not going to put my arms up on a fucking treadmill. What? I should have put my arms up. That's dangerous. I'm running on a treadmill, but I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't fall. And then I got this feeling of get off. And I was like, I'm not getting off, because a little bit of OCD thought coming in. I can't get off until it says 25 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting off. Treadmill literally went off. And I was like, right, I guess I'm getting off then. I'm on the floor, I'm praying. And out of nowhere, I just start going, I am not worthy. I am not worthy. That's not even in my linguist. Do you know what I mean? That's not even something I would regularly say. And I'm like, shit, all I'm hearing is like, you don't make this choice, I make this choice. You have to be obedient. And beforehand, I had this OnlyFans model message me to come on the podcast. And I judged her. Right?
You're honest.
Yeah, I judged her. And I was like, what the fuck are you going to bring to my podcast? Genuinely, that's what I was thinking. I was like, no, we're just clout chasing. Fuck off, man. And I told the girl, after I had this experience, I voice noted her back on Instagram. And I said to her, I was like, I'm really sorry to have ignored you. But I was judging the fucking life out of you. And I've just been totally humbled by Jesus. I don't know if you believe in him, but like, I think I've been humbled by the Holy Spirit. And she was like, I don't believe in him, but I really appreciate what you're saying. And then the other week, she messaged me. She is coming on the podcast, by the way. She messaged me. She's like, I can't wait to meet you. And I think sometimes you just have to have a mustard seed of fucking faith and trust it, because everything happens for a fucking reason. I truly believe we met for a reason. I believe your story is going to help so many fucking people.
Thank you.
And I'm really, really grateful to call you a mate.
Thank you.
That's where you say you too, Lewis.
Oh, sorry.
No, but it's going to be phenomenal. Your journey's going to be amazing. And I'm really grateful that I got to be the first one to have you on here. Because I'm sure a load of people are going to want your digits to get you on to chat your macca now.
Yeah, hope so, yeah.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate your passion for helping me and speaking life into me at the church as well.
There's more life in you than I could ever speak in you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes someone just has to turn the light on.
Yeah.
I mean, you think the room's dark, but you just haven't flicked the fucking switch, you soft cunt.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
God bless. See you later.